Today we have a 2011 Kia Sorento. We've got this over from the dealership because the stereo is dead and no power, no nothing. We pulled the manual out and looked at the manual to see where the fuse boxes are, and one fuse box is to the left of the panel here, and we've looked at the legend on this for the fuse panel, and it mentions an audio 2 over here. We've checked that fuse and that was good. Also, there is a second fuse panel out here underneath the hood that if we push in this left side here, push in the two back clips, and that will lift this panel right up, and the panel will come right up and give you access to the second set of screws. We have a fuse puller here along with the legend. Nothing is mentioned here for the stereo. Most stereos have at least two powers to them, so when you go through and looking for stereo fuses, it's usually best if you check every single fuse in the fuse panel. We checked all the ones outside. They were all good. We went through the entire panel here and found we had a blown fuse that was labeled module, and once we replaced this fuse, 15 amp fuse in the fuse panel, because it was bad, this is after checking all the fuses, we tested the radio, and of course the radio came on without a mention of this module fuse being for the radio. But we have radio and power back. But we're going to move on and show you how to remove this stereo. We're going to start by placing the key in the ignition, stepping on the brake, and shifting to a lower gear while setting the parking brake. Next, with the gear shift back, you're going to apply some major pressure to the knob to pull it straight up. The knob will release. We're going to leave it back out of gear here, and we're going to next grasp the edge of the panel on both sides, and it'll pull up and release clips. All these clips release with pry and pull pressure, and we're going to lift this up just a bit to get down into the opening here, because there is a connector right down here, and you're going to push the trigger in on that side of that connector, and that will release the connector, and you can remove this panel back up out of the way. Again, the connector sits here. There's a little trigger on the side that you squeeze into it and it releases. Next, we're looking at the main panel along the bottom here, and there are two little small notches on each side underneath, and we're going to put a screwdriver in there and pull this panel forward. It's going to release one of the clips at the bottom there, work our way across the top and bottom at the same time, and see if we can get these clips released. Sometimes it takes a little work. There we go. Now we've got that panel pulled back, and we're going to lay it down towards the little pocket here in the front. Next, we have one Phillips screw here on the right we need to remove. A second Phillips screw here on the left. And then we're going to grasp the edge of the panel, put our fingers in towards the back to help pull, and work our way up the sides of the dash, releasing this panel. Now with it all released, we can pull it from the dash. What are the controls we have here? We have up here in the top is the passenger airbag light. With the ignition on, you do not want to remove this connector. It'll show a false sense to the computer in the car, and you'll have to go to the dealership to have them program it to remove that error code. Next, we're going to start with one screw to the bottom right of the AC controls, one to the top right of the AC controls, and move over to the left side, remove one screw at the bottom left of the AC controls, and one just above that to the top left of the AC controls. This is going to allow us to pull this forward, because there is little clips here on the edges of this front panel that clip or mate to the edges here on the bottom of the stereo, so the stereo won't come out without removing that panel first. We're going to remove one of the mounting screws on the top right here, one on the middle right, one on the middle left, and one on the top left. Next we're going to grab the stereo and pull it from the dash, pull it forward. You do want to watch out for the front face of the face against the gear shift knob. Make sure you don't scratch the face of the radio. We have our first antenna has a trigger on top we release. The second one is has a little trigger on it. We're going to use a corner tool to release. Remove the tape from it to get down to that little trigger on there. Obviously some of these connectors can be tough. Okay. Next we have the first connector on the top. Looks like you squeeze triggers in on both sides of this. There's little notches on each side, and once you get it started it releases. I'm going to get to the next connector here. Usually the next one can sometimes be 2 in 1 or 1 in 1. These are all separate connectors in this case. These connectors are all keyed. Again, when they sit down into the radio, you want to grasp this little notch on the side and squeeze it down into the radio. This releases the little lock that's on the side here and will allow you to wiggle each connector free. This goes for the bottom connector, the middle connector. The top connector that goes in there has the little notches or locks on both sides, so you have to squeeze both sides in at the same time to release. This is how you remove the stereo from a 2011 Kia Sorento. Hope this video has been helpful. See our other videos for help, and thank you for watching.